Hi, and welcome to the I Am Perfectly Frank podcast. I am Frankie George McCullough, and the topics we have in these podcasts are intuition, self-fulfillment, and trusting yourself. You'll see that I will be perfectly frank, and please subscribe to this podcast on your favorite platform. Hello, and welcome to the I Am Perfectly Frank podcast. Today, our podcast was taken from the audiobook on the book, The Man He's Stupid and the Girl She's So Bitch. This was a fun rant that we got on the understanding on how to be good to yourself and what does that look like? You know, what changes in behavior or actions are you willing to take in order for you to feel better? And are you willing to be uncomfortable with the fact that you're going to do things differently and people are going to react differently? I'm sure you will enjoy this. I look forward to getting some questions from you, and also make sure you ask questions through the website, which is IamPerfectlyFrank.com. Enjoy this podcast.
So there are questions I would ask myself in learning to treat myself well. The first question I would ask myself is, how do I feel when I do this? When I'm being so sweet and nice and smiling at people because I don't want to hurt their feelings, but I really want to say no to something. How does that make me feel? Maybe in the moment I'm proud of myself because I'm doing what my mom told me to do. But afterwards, how do I feel? Do I want to go run and put my head in the sand? What would your mom tell you to do?
My mother would tell me to go put my head in the sand.
Wait,
My mother would say, no, you have to be nice to the people. But why, Mom? Why
so
do I have
if
to be
you
nice
don't
to
want to
people?
do something like help someone move and
Right.
your inclination is to be good to yourself and say no, you still have your mother in the back of your head saying what?
My mother's saying, no, you have to help them. They need you to help. You have to help them. God, he said this.
That's good. Not just mom, God.
God said it.
Yeah.
Shit, what do you do if God said it, Frankie? Your mom did she use God a lot to make you do things?
Oh, yeah.
Did it work?
Yes. My mother would say, listen, God, he teaching us how to do life. The Bible is teaching you how to do the life. You have to listen.
So what do you do now when you have her voice in your head, but you don't want to do something?
So today I now realize that God lives inside of me as me. And when I can bring up that feeling that feels good, I know I'm honoring God. I know that God is love. God is love and light. And that sadness, that weight, even Cheri expressing her anxiety, that weight, that heavy cloud that sits on you, you're not in the light of this space or energy we call God, source, whatever it is. We're not in that space because we're feeling this heavy weight upon us. Light is light. It's like a feather. It's light in its weight and it's light in its appearance, right? And when the light shines on us, we lift up, our chest lifts. We're not folded down, right? So there's that physical response. And in that space, if you just think of somebody like this that was sad and you said, you're beautiful, and they get up like this, you've just lit them up. This is, in my experience, the God space. This is source energy living in me saying, here I am.
So how long did it take you to pull yourself out of the space of God is fear? I have to do something because I'm scared of God, even though it doesn't agree with me or won't make me happy, right? Because isn't that kind of the framework your mother was coming from is, well, God said.
So honestly for me, so we know when I was 13, my brother passed away. When I was about 21, maybe I wasn't even 21. Yeah, I was 22 or 23 years old. I did peyote. Mm-hmm. And in that moment, which, by the way, you can achieve the same space in meditation.
Right.
You don't need to do peyote or any other kind of drug. It's that space of emptiness within you, right? It's that space of, okay. It's not a space of thought. It's not a space of what am I going to do? It's a space of, okay, show me the way. You can connect with source energy constantly. It was then, though, for me. It was at that time in my life when I knew I had connected with source energy by my awakenness. I was awoken to this. This is it. This is it. There is no fear. That fear is a control mechanism, and this entity, whatever it might be, this energy called God, this people, the human being, participated in this because they needed for the human being, like the containment of the body, to have a sense of control. Containment in the body is control, right? And therefore we needed definition and action of behavior to have control. So I'm going to control you with fear, just like we're doing today.
Yeah, everywhere.
I mean, it's not the vaccine or not the vaccinated, but it's this mandate that you have to be vaccinated. Like, I would hope people would think, like, for what? Why would being mandated to, it just, anyways, that's for me. There's such a ball wrapped around that I just want to get off me.
But then did you go back to your mom ever and have that conversation with her that like, hey mom, God is love for me, not fear? And, or did that rectify after her death with your spiritual relationship with her?
First of all, I think this book called The Bible should not be interpreted by somebody preaching to you. I think this book called the Bible, which simply means the word book, should be read by each individual human being. And you should allow whatever interpretation comes up for you, because this is guidance. This is truth in guidance for you. Some people may need to operate in fear, because they need a containment. I know that I know people that they need boundaries. They need them. Me, please, let's get rid of the boundaries.
Right.
They're all okay. In religion, this concept of fear can be interpreted in two ways. One, fear that, you can do all of these things, or fear that you have to stop doing all of these things. That's why you need to go into this place by yourself, because minister, priest, evangelist, whatever they are, it's their interpretation and how they give it to you and how you receive it. So this fear concept for me in relationship to my mother changed greatly when I was 13 years old.
After your brother died.
Yeah, after my brother died, there was such a devastating experience for the whole family. In my case, not only did I lose him, but in reality, what I really lost was an entire family. And I lost them because they were experiencing whatever they were experiencing.
How they were grieving.
How are they grieving? You really do. You can't think of somebody else. I mean, it's such a heavy inside weighted job that, of course, people get mad at God, right? Like, where's God in all of this?
Did she blame God for your brother's death? Did she stop going to church?
My oldest sibling blamed God, at least knowingly. I don't know what they did inside themselves, but knowingly, my brother openly got very pissed off at God, pulled any religious amulet they may have had on, threw it off, and denounced God. That's when I got curious about this God concept and started reading the Bible and other religious books, and found that there's a whole array of Catholic, Christian, the Gnostic Bibles, which are a mystical Bible, or the Dead Sea Scrolls, which are, where did all the books go? Or I read about Constantine and how he wanted to bring these two religions together because his people, the Druids, here we're coming up to Halloween, right? The Druids, these group of people that believed in this scary, ugly, witchery kind of thing. And now we're bringing these two religions together, in you read in the Dead Sea Scrolls or the Gnostic Bibles about today's prophecies, people that are intuitive and so on. Yet in the Old Testament, God says prophecy will come through man. Yet you have people that, you must be the devil. Well, it says that in anything we do, we shouldn't do the devil's work. In anything we do. I personally don't believe in the devil. I believe in behavior that is not comfortable for you, a behavior that can harm not just you and the world. And I believe anything you do unto you, you're doing to every other human being.
Right.
You're just doing it. I mean, when you are loving yourself, imagine when you're loving yourself, it vibrates out. You know frequency, right?
Oh, 100%.
You're going up north. You're listening, trying to find a radio station. Right? you're looking for that frequency. And then the frequency is so beautiful. And if I could sing, I would sing for you. But I cannot. And then you have this lovely vibration. And this vibration, like a beautiful white dove, flies out. And it keeps going. And it takes all of this beauty with it. It goes all the way around the world. It goes into infinity, into Mother Earth. It just keeps going. And it doesn't stop. Even when that ugly crack comes, that one kept going. And so that frequency, that might be what religious books call the devil.
Right.
And now I'm jacked up and my life sucks and I don't like people and somebody's talking bad about me and my mother is right. And if you stop and look at it, we have all these deadly sins, right? And some cardinal comes along, I think in the 1400s, and says, I'm going to make them 7 cardinal sins, right? Now we have them in the Bible, in the New Testament. But they were never in the Bible. They were considered deadly because they cause you harm.
Right.
But in the same light of jealousy and all of those sins, envy, greed, gluttony, sloth, lust, and all of them, those are only 5 of the 7, in all of them, jealousy, which I did not mention, she's right. When you're putting that energy out there to another person, what you're saying is that person has something I want, and I am behaving this way because I don't have it. Okay, I'm lusting after this this person with lots of money. Ooh, I want to be with him. It's because I don't have it.
And in that same vein, as far as loving yourself, is it really looking at the lust and saying, I want the money because really I want happiness. So it's not the money that I want to be happy. So is it really kind of stripping away those like 7 deadly sins and really seeing what you truly want is joy, happiness, love?
I personally don't think it's any of those. I think it's just stopping the noise.
Okay. Just stopping the negative chatter.
I just stop the negative chatter because we can allow people also learn from these behaviors that I'm going to call, for me, ugly. People learn from them. It doesn't mean the person's wrong or bad. They're just having an experience. And for them, it might keep coming up. Maybe it's from a past experience. Maybe it's from something then. And the other thing, if I may, on this book of the Bible, there is nothing wrong with believing in your religion. There's nothing wrong with following that doctrine. God bless you for being in that space because you're connecting with Source. This just happens to be the way you connect. You might need a road that has parameters. Other people, please set me free. Let me look at the whole mountain and not just the path to get on the mountain.
Just don't use it as a weapon to hurt somebody else.
Hurt somebody else.
Well,
And
religion.
Being raised in a cult, in a Christian cult,
I don't know how you did it. Which like talk about having to like separate your brain from God and fear.
Completely. It's they shouldn't have used the Bible. They should have just used a book called Fear 101 and how to apply it in every form of your life. In fact, don't even think anything you're not allowed to think. Literal thought crime,
So then people have bought into that.
Oh, there are loads of them.
Many people have bought into that. And what all of that has created in all of our religions, there's a heavy, heavy emphasis on judgment.
Oh, yeah.
Heavy emphasis on judgment. And then they exist in a right and wrong world. Nothing worse than somebody saying to me, you're wrong because you do this. You're wrong because you cuss. You're wrong because, you wear those pants. You're wrong that may be true for you.
Right.
And I'm okay with that.
And I think that's where self-love comes from, right? The whole notion of, but I'm okay with me.
But I'm okay with me.
Go
You
fuck
do
yourself.
you.
But not only that, I'm also okay with you. This is that same political arena we're standing on today. I get that you're a heavy Catholic. I get that you need to judge me. Girlfriend, you can go there. That doesn't mean I want to be in the same space with you.
Right.
It doesn't mean that, but I'm not going to make you bad or wrong because of it. We need to find this space in today's world.
Yeah.
This is an awakening right now, 2021, 2019. When was it? 2000. Everyone thought the end of the world was coming.
Yeah.
Don't we get that COVID is it? COVID is this Christ consciousness, Buddha, all of this spiritual. This is our awakening to how so cool we are. People, see yourself. See how amazing you are. And if your belief system works for you, you go there. And please let me walk the same space with you without you making me wrong or bad.
Correct.
And if you want to try and convince me, and I want to say, you know what, thank you for sharing. I don't really want to go there. Allow that too. Mm-hmm. Allow that too. We are awesome as human beings. We are truly spiritual beings in a containment.
In an avatar.
Right, in
Call
an
my avatar.
Exactly. And how cool if we could see how cool we were. If we could see that we are blessed. Parents, we're doing the best we can, and we can't understand why our children took their lives. Maybe they were just done now. Maybe they were just done. It's an awful feeling to lose somebody in any way from this physical containment. It doesn't feel good because the containment holds the feeling. What if we took that feeling, and if we could, which I don't know that I could, I'll be honest with you, I'm going to feel all that human stuff. Please, God, don't let it happen to anybody. I don't want to know. I am not interested in finding out. And at the same time, if we didn't have to leave this world, and if we were here, why don't we stay with it and enjoy it and allow the spiritual part of us to not have the containment that the human part of us must have to be human.
That was beautiful. I know that when you did peyote, you communicated with your brother who has passed on. Now that your mother has passed on, how has your relationship changed with her?
Hello. The man, he's stupid, and the girl, she's so bitch. Here's what has really changed for me. My mother, even when I was a young child, she was done. She had 7 kids, and she couldn't take anymore.
Because you were the youngest.
And according to my mother, I had 9 pregnancy, right? Okay, Mom, thank you.
She lost 2?
She lost 2 along the way. And
were you the last, or there was some that she lost after you?
There was 1 before me and 1 after me.
Wow. So you're flanked.
Right.
Wow.
And so her experience, my mother was brilliant. This religion, I was born into a Catholic religion. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It really helped community, and it really and these people had an arduous life. They came from the Middle East. They came from this world in which they were this old world living into America, which was like, wow, I never knew breathing could be like this. So my mother, and bless her, she would say, no, I don't know better. I'd say, Mom, why do you do this? No, this is the way. She would tell me, my mother would create her own gossip. My mother, I'm telling you, my mother would create her own gossip. It was the ugliest thing I ever saw. So she gave me a great gift because I saw it as ugly and didn't want to be that. Now, mind you, of course I gossip. I try. Okay, I do my very best to not.
We do our best.
To not get caught in it. But if I have a problem with somebody, I need to call someone to pull me out of it, right? I think I'm being kind, or that bitch. I can't believe, if you talk to the wrong person, they're going to absorb that person as a bitch. Although we do have characteristics that we can say, you know what, she's really hyper, or, be careful because she cusses, or we do have, and, she's always mean, or she always has attitude. That may be true, but I would offer you the thought, have your experience with that person. Find out for yourself. It is worth the effort because you might find a gem in there. You might find a true gem in there. But if you're like, I'm uncomfortable, I'm going to stay back. As human beings, my mother taught me the most precious thing. She taught me that love prevails. She taught me so much about God and Jesus' love more than anything. And I knew at a very young age this for me, confession in the Catholic Church. For me, when I was young, there was so much emphasis on right and wrong, and be careful, God's going to punish you, and God's going to make you do this, and God's going to make you that. It didn't feel right to me. It just didn't. And I would have these conversations with my mother, and she would say to me, Francis, we don't know, but the love is everything. We don't know, but the love is everything. She would say to me, she would tell me, very Catholic woman, in today's King James Version of the Bible, she would say, and she would read her Bible in Aramaic. She goes, Jesus, he would marry. I said, he was married. Mary Magdalene, she was his wife. He had 3 kids. I'm like, Mom, no, she had to leave. She couldn't stay in Jerusalem. She leaves, she goes to France. I'm like, what? Right. My mother would say to me, Judas? I said, yeah. She goes, Judas, he was very smart. Jesus, he go to Judas, he go, Judas, you're so smart. You're smarter than all the rest. You're going to tell the people that I'm here because I don't want to have the war. And the war is not good. So you're going to tell the people. Judas goes, Jesus, why you put this on me? He goes, because you know the God. You know what's going to happen. If you leave, you leave. It's okay. He was the first one to commit suicide that we know about. He took his own life. Maybe he took it because he was like, listen, these people are fucked up. They're going to just come and kill me. I'm going to kill myself before they kill me. But what if, in fact, Judas wasn't the villain? What if, in fact, Jesus knew this one could handle this weight? I'm going to ask him to help me. What if Judas was also a Jesus?
That's how I feel.
Either way, it doesn't matter.
Right.
Believe this way, believe that way.
It
doesn't matter. What matters is, in every religion, if you can grasp this love space, and if you can get out of this judgment space, if you don't like it, don't go there. And if you want to help somebody through something, help them through it. Although you've got to be able to do it without the judgment. Mm-hmm. You're gay. You shouldn't be gay. Catholics say you shouldn't be gay. Okay? I was talking to a friend of mine that's a bishop now, and he said, well, if we didn't know, it'd be different. I'm like, did you just hear yourself? Like, okay. And what else is interesting in this world, this gender neutral stuff, like, why do we have to do that? Or, why can't we be black and Arabic and Chaldean and Iraqi and white and Polish and German and Dutch and Italian? Why can't we be those things without people and make description of them without being called racist and wrong? And because we've put this idea in our head. And because for some of these people, this was an arduous road. Today, right now, it's an arduous road to be Asian. Today, right now, and last year, by the way, or 5 years ago, it was Muslim. Right? Okay? And before that, and then mixed in with being gay or gender neutral or fat or skinny, or we wrap so much around these descriptions of right and wrong. And so my mother really taught me that this right and wrong, no. If you listen to the Bible and your heart did feel like it have to go here, go there. If your heart did feel like it don't go here, don't go there. It's okay. But remember, God, He is the love. Don't forget God, He is the love. That makes sense. That made sense to me. So maybe I've bought into this belief system, right? Because it feels good to me. What if we, in fact, are the creators of our lives? For me, I choose to live in this place where I'm happy. I like happiness. Let me tell you, I like it, okay? And I'm going to pull myself back or have somebody pull me back to this place. What does happiness mean for me? It's probably not the same as somebody else, right? It's not. Although I have found for me, and I believe, again, bought into that belief system, I have found for me to live in this neutral space and come back to my breath and not judge and not put weight, even upon myself, life happens to me. And it is outstanding. It is so organic. And I get everything. I get people. I get love. I get friendship. I get the things I desire. They just show up. They just show up. And they show up in what I'm going to describe as light. They show up as light. And easy and happy. It would be great. And we are in this world right now, in this COVID world. We're going to call this COVID world. In this world, we're awakening to this light. And this light is us. And all we have to do is see us in that light of love. And there's quite a few people that are awakening to it. And it's a shame we've had to have people pass. We could blame it on this one and say it's that one and they created it on. What difference does it make? It's happening. Mm-hmm. It's irrelevant what's happening. It's the fear that is the bigger problem. It is not the vaccine or the COVID. It is the fear. I'm going to die. It's going to happen.
And all of these restrictions and all of these mandates and all of this, I figure there's a couple of things going on. One is nobody wants a situation where somebody comes back to them and says, you're responsible for all of these deaths because you didn't do X, Y, Z. For these corporations that are setting these mandates, they don't want to be sued. I don't want to get sued because I didn't tell my employees they have to be vaccinated. So, if somebody comes in and gets sick and dies, and now I'm going to be sued. And then the other part is somebody wants to go, yes, I solved it. I made everybody stay home. I made everybody get the vaccination. I fixed it. I did it. So it's all of those things at play.
Yeah.
It's every one of those things at play.
But
our judgment about
But I
what
can
it
put my
means.
head in the sand about that, right?
Yeah.
I literally won't watch the news. I'm just like, it doesn't make me
That's
happy.
the best thing to do.
It doesn't impact me in any way.
Me too. And the biggest reason is the news doesn't serve me, right? I like happiness. I don't want it to bring me down. It makes me sad to think that people have died. People are going to be sad if I'm one of the people that died from having the vaccine or not having the vaccine. I don't understand how people can't see. People assume because I'm vaccinated, it's okay, I can run around freely. How many people are dying from being vaccinated and still getting COVID?
Still doing crazy shit.
That's why I say to you, it's the fear. The fear is our control mechanism right now. It's always been.
Always been.
It's just very loud right now.
Yeah.
End scene.
And see.
Thank you so much for joining us today on this podcast about how to be good to yourself. I'm sure you're going to love the book if you haven't been reading it already. The Man, He's Stupid, and the Girl, She's So Bitch. Relationship Wisdom from My Mom. Remember, you can get this on Amazon or go to our website, IamPerfectlyFrank.com. There is a link there. And please feel free to ask questions, make comments, give us your view on this information. Have a really amazing day. Hi, guys. Thank you for joining us today on this podcast. By the way, at the I Am Perfectly Frank website, you can find information about all the stuff I've been doing for the last 40 years. We treat pain patterns. We are coaches. We do intuitive work. We also do massage. We also help you understand what your pain is telling you so that you don't have it anymore. Anyways, again, check out the IamPerfectlyFrank.com website, and thank you for joining us today.